Hey guys, Jonah here, back with another beer review. And yeah, we're doing a second one, not the second one of this book, The Elements of Beer, but the second one in the yeast experiments from the Yeastie Boys. And we have got this beer, Remus. I'm just going to focus on there, hopefully it does. I don't know what's going on with this camera. It's been doing this for about a year now, but getting really bad. Like the focus is awful. Come on, dude. There we go. All right. Remus. It's an American blonde ale, 3.4, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Amarillo and Columbus. Everything's the same as yesterday. Amarillo, Columbus, Pilsner wheat and light Munich. The only thing they've changed in this beer is they've used US-05, which is one of the home brewers' dream kind of yeasts. And here it is. Yeastie Boys, the Elements of Beer yeast. Wow, it focused really quickly that time. And there's Remus, a little kind of chihuahua, that looks like. And it's an American blonde, whereas the other one was a Belgian blonde. But weirdly, yeah, the yeast is from France. Yeah, once again, brewed for Yeastie Boys in the EU and then imported back into Britain and then sent out to me. I've no idea the provenance of this, but I could take a guess. It is a Beer 52 brewery. They do a lot of weird, sneaky things behind the scenes. They definitely do. But anyway, I'm kind of in a good place with Beer 52 at the moment. I'm much impressed by their calendar, advent calendar beers. It was really, really good this year, or last year, I should say, 2025. A little bit of yeast came through there as well. And let's do. How did we do this yesterday? It was like that with Romulus, but it's Remus today. And it should be that way round. Romulus and Remus, the people raised by wolves, Roman general. No, Caesars. Were they Caesars? They were definitely Roman generals anyway. Right. So one thing that I can definitely see that's different is the head. That is incredibly flat compared to yesterday. And if I zoom in a bit, I don't know if you remember, but there was some ferocious bubbles going on. Not the same at all, which is interesting. So yeast is to do, obviously, with the fermentation as well as just flavors and that kind of thing. The other thing is, I mean, it is, from memory, it is similar, but I think this is a slightly lighter colour than the beer from yesterday. And assuming everything else is the same, that is really interesting. That suggests that yeast is somewhat to do, or fermentation, I should say, is somewhat to do with the Maillard reaction. But usually that happens over a time, like quite a lot of time actually. But it makes an older beer slightly darker, which is interesting when you think about it. I don't know if that's what's happening there. Like I say, there's probably not that much difference, but it seems to me anyway that it's a bit lighter. Okay, interesting. So, no surprise, but I'm not getting those kind of Belgian esters because, no clove there, no banana, which are to do with the interaction. But the yeast, the Belgian yeast, definitely promote those both on the nose and in the mouth. So this is going to be really interesting because if you remember yesterday, I said kind of the orange coming from the Amarillo mixed really nicely with the clove from the yeast, or the interaction with the yeast. So you had orange and clove together. There was banana in there too, but because this yeast, a USO5, is so neutral, yeah, interesting that I'm not getting that, but I'm not surprised either. Cheers and beers to you all. Let's see what we get from this one. Look at that, the head is totally gone. And yesterday, the head was thick. Right at the bottom, there was some head, right at the bottom of the glass. So no idea what's happened. And literally cleaned this glass, let it drain, the same way as I usually do. So yeah, there shouldn't be anything. Well, there was nothing to stick on the side. Very weird. Okay. Oh, yeah, a lot more punchiness there to the hop flavour. Yeah, it's really punching out, really zesty, really orangey. Yeah, all I'm getting is the kind of fruit. I'm getting, even on the kind of aftertaste, getting that fruitiness really coming through. I'm trying to see if I can taste any of the malts, because the malts are going to be the same. Pilsner et al., whatever it was. Munich, I think, was in there too. And it's less creamy yesterday. That's the other thing that I didn't really say, but now that I'm drinking this beer and remembering, it's a lot more zesty. Sorry, a lot more creamy last night. This one is a lot more zesty. That's what I'm trying to say. Really interesting. So I'm thinking, as I was talking, which sometimes I do more than I don't, but I'm thinking the Pilsner malt can, especially in a Bohemian Pilsner, can lead itself to that kind of creamier lager thing going on, whereas this one isn't. So I'm wondering if the interaction between the malts and the yeast. Yesterday we had lots of head, so head retention was amazingly good. It was really sticking to the side of the glass, if you remember. I mean, today it's not bad. You can see this side, but if we look around the back of the glass, it's not. There's no way as much kind of head causing the lacing, but it also gave it a creamier taste. So I was thinking, oh, yeah, I didn't really get the malt. I didn't, but what I did get was a creaminess, which I'm sure was coming from the malt and the malt interaction with the yeast, which I'm not getting today. I mean, it's amazing. Same malts, same hops, brewed in the same place. That it doesn't say it was, but I'm assuming it was. So the water source is going to be the same. I mean, maybe they changed the salts a little bit in the water. I'm hoping they didn't, but it's the overall thing is really different. This one, zestier, punchier. It tastes a bit lighter as well. The mouthfeel was thicker yesterday too. Um, wow, this is crazy. I remember homebrewing, and we used to do yeah, weird stuff. Me and a guy called Zippy. He did it more than me. A bit older than me, had a bit more time, etc., etc., more experience in brewing. He was a legend. Um, but he used to do back to back to back brews with different yeasts and different hops and things like that. He'd boil up a 5 gallon batch and then separate it into 5 1 gallon jugs, and then reboil or boil, different hops in and stuff like that. So he'd do a lot more experiments than me. I have done that once or twice. I can't remember if it was yeast or not that I changed. But yes, I have done experiments before, and it's really good. If you're into your beer, home brewing is really a cool way of doing it. Obviously, it has a little bit of expense. You don't have to splurge loads of money on equipment and stuff. You can easily, but having plastic buckets and things like that, and a pot on your stove top, that does work. And maybe a cool box, and uh, either pour it through gravity or do a circulation with a pump. You know, they're not that expensive. You know, a couple of £100, and you can brew huge amounts of beer. You will brew far more beer than you ever thought you would. But what I'm saying is, experiment to see how your ingredients. You could do it with equipment when you change equipment out and that kind of thing too. But it's really, really useful. The other thing to do is, and I've said this before, and this isn't a case of what I'm going to say, but hopefully you're finding this interesting. Find beers advertised as either single hop, so they only use one hop, or sometimes smash beers, so single malt and single hop, because then you really get to know what a hop tastes like, and you really get to know what a malt tastes like. Simple beers, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying drink them all the time, but I'm saying it's really good to dial your senses in to a certain hop or a certain hop with a certain malt. It's really, really a good thing to do. Sensory kind of experience. Cheers and beers. Oh, yeah, that one really, the zestiness is coming out. It's not obscenely zesty. It's not an IPA, obviously. It's a 3.5% beer, but it's quite heavily hopped. I'm sure it is because it's got a real punchy hopness to it. And although the head retention isn't that great, if you look at the back of the glass, I was saying, oh, the lacing's pretty bad. It is not too bad, but it's just not as much as it was yesterday. Look at that. That is good. I need to get back into Foam Watch and see what we can pick up from those. Anyhow, that was Remus, or I should say it was Romulus and Remus. Both of those were a Yeastie boys, the elements of beer, and obviously it's the Yeastie boys, so it has to be for yeast. That is a really, really good experiment. Even though I kind of, yeah, I know that these beers were brewed in a Beer 52 sponsored brewery in Belgium, I'm pretty sure. Um, the experiment side of this is fantastic. Whoever came up with this as a concept, chapeau off to you, my friend. Um, really, really enjoying this. And I've been reading the magazine too. Really, really interesting. I've only got a couple of beers left in this experiment. Um, and they are the hop ones. So it's going to be different hops next time, but we're going to pair those up as well. This has been Unclejona, drinking to entertain you. I hopefully have. These last, it's going to be 6, isn't it? Because I've done 3 different experiment sets. But yeah, really, really enjoying this so far. Once I've dialed my brain in to what was going on, fantastic. This has been Unclejona. Cheers to you. Please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'm going to be back with a hoppy experiment, and that's going to be coming up real soon.